Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone at therapyhealing.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. I'm just trying to get the deck out of the box because I'm going to be using the Tao Oracle, and this is a weekly general reading. I love the back of this deck, so pretty, and plus it kind of goes with what I'm wearing a bit, sort of. so this is for the week beginning the 13th through to the 19th, and I may use the guidebook in this. Like, I feel like I haven't decided. I'm probably gonna just go with my intuition and go by what I feel, but then I do want to read something from the guidebook because I just think this is such an amazing guidebook. Because it's a pretty thick one. I think, in my opinion, out of all the decks I have, and I have quite a few decks now, this is like one of the best guidebooks for a deck that I have. So it's just so uplifting, a lot of the explanations of the cards, and it just gives you a different kind of perspective on things, which I like. So let's see, from the 13th to the 19th, asking for a message that resonates with everyone watching this video. Okay. The first card is Contemplation, with the keywords gaining overview, detached observation, increased understanding, solitude, integration through reflection. And I like that so much, because I think that basically, starting off with the contemplation card, is saying that there's some things that we need to really be reflecting on at this time. I really am drawn to when it says detached observation, because what that is being able to see something without feeling too close to the situation. Sometimes when we feel like we're just too close, or things become too personal for us, we tend to not really see it in a very objective way. Like, we tend to see it even from a very emotional standpoint, or sometimes from a point of like your ego, where you kind of feel like, oh my gosh, like maybe someone's done something to you, and you take it in a way that is really personally. And sometimes if you just step back a bit and you really reflect on it, and really analyze it, you start to see that, okay, maybe I shouldn't have got offended by this thing, because maybe there's a bigger reason, maybe there's a bigger purpose to the way this person is behaving or what they're doing. And I know that's definitely something I've had to deal with, and something that has helped me in dealing with that is actually practicing mindfulness and going to the mindfulness classes that I told you guys about previously. Because something that the psychotherapist that runs the class was telling us, which is so true, is that mindfulness also is about kindness. It's also about treating yourself in a really kind way. And also that kindness can be reflected onto other people. And sometimes when we've been wronged in some kind of way, the first thing we think to ourselves is not to be kind, but to get even, or to reflect that same behavior back to that person. But really what it's about is about maybe observing the person's behavior and understanding it for what it is. Sometimes, a lot of the time, when someone treats you a certain way, it's not even really about you, it's about them. And so I think sometimes these are just things that we have to identify and see and be able to observe. But again, these cards could be showing up in a different way for different people. So you might be contemplating on something completely different. You might be contemplating about a relationship. You might be contemplating on a financial situation. You might be contemplating on a spiritual level. Like, maybe spiritually you feel drawn in a different direction, or maybe there's something that you want to that you're considering, and you need to contemplate and take some time out to do that. Because as you can see, this person is by themselves. This card almost to me has a feeling of the hermit, so it could be saying that maybe you have to reflect or contemplate by yourself. Maybe there's you've reached a point in maybe even your spiritual development where there's certain things that you're starting to see or observe, and all of these things are giving you a different perspective, and you just have to kind of give yourself time to take it all in and to digest all that's happening around you, or all that you're seeing or understanding at this time. Or maybe you're trying to gain more understanding of certain things. And then you have the moon in this card, and the moon is all about your intuition, your feelings, and what is going on deep down inside of you. So I kind of feel like maybe some of you guys have been going through some kind of changes within your internal being as well. So yes, this might be a time where maybe at the beginning of the week you find that you're spending a bit more time by yourself, and you're just kind of mulling things over. Okay, the next card is the splitting apart. It says impermanence, collapse, deterioration, separation, let go, surrender, eliminate the old, and death. Splitting apart. So that kind of shines a light on what you could possibly be contemplating about, because it could be saying that maybe you are considering going in a separate direction from something else or someone else. Maybe that's why you really have to mull it over, and maybe this is a business partnership, maybe this is, again, it could be a work situation, but it's kind of saying that now is the time for you to really be thinking about what you're going to be sticking with and what you're going to be letting go of. Like I was saying, because I feel like this card has a little bit of the hermit feel to it, it's kind of making me think that for some of you, it's that you've outgrown a situation maybe just not resonating with you anymore, or maybe you just feel like, okay, the time has come for you to just move on, and maybe a cycle has kind of ended for you. This isn't a bad thing, I feel like, because I feel like this is a choice that you have to make for yourself. And because this person, like I mentioned previously, is alone, it could be saying that, sometimes you have to walk away from something and be the only one to leave, or be the only one to say, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. And in some situations, it takes a lot of bravery to do that, to be the one person to walk away from something. Because what I get from this picture that I see here, with like this thing that looks like gravel or rocks and things all together, is it could be saying that this was a solid situation at one point. Like, this was something that was that maybe you've been in for quite a long time, like it's been around for a long time. And but you're having to kind of be almost like the rock that kind of separates itself from the others. And imagine, all of these look so pressed together that they're all kind of held in one space. So it's almost like if one rock removes, the whole thing could almost collapse apart, so it could be sort of saying that maybe that's why, like, maybe you are having to make a brave choice, maybe you are having to go against the grain in some kind of way, or maybe you leaving could actually have quite a dramatic effect on whatever the situation is. But being that we have the feather there, the feather is kind of telling me that this is a sign from your higher self, from your guides, Christ, whoever you believe in is up there, is kind of giving you that sign, because that's what feathers kind of represent. They could also, angels can be represented in feathers as well, but feathers usually is a spiritual sign to say, okay, something, you have to pay attention to this situation here, because something is going on here that is trying to be like, okay, it's time. So if you're kind of feeling like, okay, you have to kind of move, you have to do something differently, I think spirit is kind of giving you the green light and telling you, okay, this is what you have to do. And so I would say, even if it's tough, don't feel too bad about it, because now is the right time. So and it says the last card is the joyous, and it says happiness, delight, interaction, open communication, goodwill, friendly persuasion, and self-expression. Okay, So that's a really lovely card. And we have dragonflies in this one and flowers. It's a really beautiful card. And so basically that's the reason why spirit is telling you have to leave this situation behind, because you're going to be happier once you do, basically. So I kind of see that for some of you guys, you're moving away from a tough situation. I think for some of you guys, like, I think the situation you're moving away from is almost like a position of servitude in some kind of way. Like you were serving somebody else, or maybe you was doing for somebody else and you wasn't really getting the credit, or you wasn't getting what you deserved out of the situation. It could be that as well. But I'm kind of feeling like this was an old situation that had been around for a long time. And it's like finally the day has come where you're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, or I have to make this final choice to move on. I have to make this final choice for my own happiness, to pursue my own goals, or to like be driven in a different direction. But it seems whatever direction you're going in is a much happier one. So, you know, to me, there's nothing bad that can really come out of this change on your end. I kind of feel for the other people it could be a difficult situation, but for you I feel like it's going to be a better situation, because basically it's like spirit is moving you towards your happiness, and I think that's a good thing for you to do. And I don't know why, but this card for me is kind of feeling like the Fool card. That's the thing about me, like I read with different cards, but sometimes like I just feel things, like I see things in cards and it makes me think of other like traditional tarot cards. And so the Fool is all about new beginnings and starting afresh and starting anew and really letting go of some stuff. And so like is kind of saying that you're moving towards your joy in experiencing something new and different. So for some of you guys, I feel like you just need a new environment. You need a new place to be. You need an environment that supports you and supports the new you that you're growing into, because you're growing and you're changing. And with this growth and with this change, you need to be around people or environments or spaces that reflect that change. So, you know, again, don't worry about situations or people kind of looking at you like, oh, you know, why are you doing this and all this other stuff. I feel like you know within yourself why you're doing it and why this is important to you at this time. And really the reason why this is important to you is because you're going to be experiencing a greater level of happiness where you are right now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, which is a bit different, is I just turned the deck over. I'm gonna take this card from underneath the deck, and I'm going to look up his explanation as well. And so it says the taming power of the small, and it says self-restraint, self-sufficiency, careful preparation, resourcefulness, minor impediments, adaptability. So that card really fits into what we're talking about, you know, experiencing something new, doing something new. The taming power of the small, to me this card is really saying it's about hard work and dedication. When you see the spider with the web, you know, it's about really sticking to what you're trying to do and putting in the effort to make it happen. Because, you know, like a spider, like it takes a lot of work for them to create a web, and webs are like really delicate and intricate, but they're very strong at the same time. So it's kind of saying that because, you know, it catches insects and all that kind of stuff. So what I see for you is there is a lot of work ahead, there is a lot of toil in these changes that you're trying to make, but again and again you're doing it by yourself. So this is a lot of, so you're having to be self-sufficient, you're having to rely on yourself in making these changes, because again I'm kind of feeling like you're moving into change but you're not really getting all the support that you need, so you have to be the one to kind of make all these things happen. But because these flowers are so beautiful here, I feel like even if it's hard work and even if it takes a lot of your time and even if you have to stay up late and all this other stuff, there's a greater purpose to what you're doing, and that greater purpose is going to be reflected, especially when you've completed this whole process, and whatever you create from the situation is going to be so beautiful and just so great for yourself that you're going to feel like, okay, all my hard work has paid off and it was really worth it. Peace and blessings to you. Bye.